I look at all the gifts along the way and how, if you sort your life into all these different categories, in every single one, I've not just leveled up, I've leveled up in a way that hadn't even occurred to me. I've grown, I've had these experiences. Like, what a gift. Like, what a gift. And all it cost me was all my money. A few years ago, on my now ex wife's 40th birthday, I bought her a chalkboard and this letter. And I'm going to share with you what I wrote to her on her 40th birthday. And then we're going to have a talk about what it's like post divorce to move forward. But we're going to start with this letter today. Hi, beautiful. It's your husband, Adam. And I want to tell you how great it is being in your 40s. As you know, I've had some practice at being an age that starts with a 4. And I can honestly say it's the best part of my life so far. So I thought I'd fill you in on some of the secrets that I couldn't tell you before because you were too young. These things aren't supposed to, these are things that you're not supposed to know in your 30s, but now you can. Before I get into the secrets, though, I wanted to tell you how much I love you. I honestly don't think you realize sometimes how loved you are by me. You're my favorite. And you're so great, Ash. Like, really great. There is so much greatness in you, it's scary. I see it every day. I see it on your good days, your bad days, on the days you're happy. I even see it when you're mad at me. There's an energy in you that is extremely powerful. You have abilities to see, to manifest, and to make things happen that most people just can't comprehend. But you can. It's an extraordinary talent, and you possess this talent in spades. You're amazing, Ash. I'm sorry if I don't tell you that enough, because it's true. Okay, on to the secrets of being in your 40s. The first thing you need to know about being in your 40s is that you get to put yourself first a lot. You no longer have to apologize for being a bit selfish. You can do things for yourself way more often. You can do things for you that are just for you, nobody else, simply because they make you happy. And you can do this a lot. The people who love you, truly love you, they'll be glad to see when you do this. So you don't have to ask permission from anyone. And you don't have to feel guilty when you're doing the things you love. It's great. The second thing you need to know is that you get a clean slate on your 40th birthday. That's what your gift is all about, a clean slate. You get to decide which part of your life comes with you in your 40s and which part can stay behind with your 30s. All you have to do is decide which parts come with you. So you can drop every single part of your lifestyle that you don't want to come along with you in your 40s. You just let it go. And the best part is you don't look back. All you have to do is just tell the shit you don't want that it's not invited to the next decade. And you get to bring the parts you do like with you. It's that simple. The chalkboard I bought you is to represent a clean slate. It's your clean slate. So choose carefully what you want to fill it with because it's coming along for the next decade. The last thing I'll tell you about your 40s is that this is the age you get to learn how to fly. In your 30s, you get speed bumps and they slow you down. But the only way a speed bump can slow you down is if you're on the ground. Speed bumps don't affect people who are in the air flying. It's just not how they work. So when you're ready, you just decide to take those feet off the ground. From now on, you don't have to walk on the ground. You get to fly. And it starts the second you decide to. You'll giggle at the things that used to slow you down because now those speed bumps can't get you. This is the best part. Ash, I can't believe how lucky I am to get to spend my days with you. I wouldn't trade it for 1 second. I love waking up with you. I love going to bed with you. I love kissing you when one of us leaves the house, and I love the anticipation that comes when we've been apart, even if it's just for an hour. You're my favorite person and it makes me so happy and lucky that I get to spend my life with you. I love you the most, Adam. I'm going to explain the context of that letter in a little bit, but the real purpose of today's episode, I'm now through the hardest part of the divorce, 27 months after she left. Came to an agreement here, and now the documents are filed, and we're on the way to divorce. I'm going to share with you some of the things I've learned over the last 27 months and how maybe you can apply it to your life. There's gifts everywhere in this. But with that said, new episode, Army of Great Men. Let's go. you hear that letter and you might, make a whole bunch of assumptions. Sounds like a perfect marriage. Sounds like this. The truth is, our marriage wasn't very good. Um, and that's not a shot at her or me or anything. We just wanted really different things. And we were raised in completely different households, completely different environments. We wanted different things out of life. And, I'll never forget it. So we got pregnant pretty early in our relationship, maybe a little earlier than anyone would have planned out. And I remember a conversation because I just remember back then. I mean, I was so young, and I just remember thinking, there's a reason this happened. This isn't a mistake. Uh, so I'm just going to go all in. I'm just going to go all in on this relationship and give it every possible chance to work. I remember my oldest friend, because like obviously, imagine one of your boys, one of your buddies, you find out, you just got a girl pregnant. You're, you know, what's this going to be? I'm sure everybody's asking a bunch of questions. And, one of my best friends, he just reached out and he said, okay, hard conversation. I just got to ask, like, are you sure about this? Are you sure you know what you're doing? And I'll never forget the conversation. I said, well, here's the thing. I said, if I assume that this is going to be bad, then it has 100% chance of being bad. Like, it's a guarantee that this is not going to be good. But if I assume that it's going to be great and I give it every chance it has to be great, then at least it's got a shot, right? At least it's got a shot. So the only path that I could see at that stage to this being a great thing is if I gave it the opportunity to be a great thing, right? I gave it every chance I could to make it a great thing. And I tried my best. I really did. Um, I just thought that if I just loved her enough, if I just loved her enough, that would get us to the promised land. That would get us there. But the truth is, we wanted very different things in life, right? And when I say that, I don't want you to think that I'm being critical of her, because I'm not, right? So if you listen to this podcast, chances are you listen to it because you think in a similar fashion to me, right? You look at the world in a similar way, you kind of have same values, same goals, like that's why you would listen to this. And so, sometimes we think that people who don't think like us or don't view the world the way we do are wrong. That's not it, right? That's not it at all. I'm a dreamer. I want to be, like, I want this amazing life. I want to have lots of experiences. I want to travel the world. I want to meet great people. I want to be doing something all the time and constantly growing. She couldn't have a more opposite view of that. She doesn't want anything big. She doesn't want anything fancy. Frankly, she was uncomfortable with most of the goals that I had, most of the things that I wanted to do in life. It doesn't mean she's wrong. It doesn't mean that I'm right or vice versa. It just means we wanted two very different things in life. And for a while, like, kids are young and you're just in it. You're you're up to your elbows in diapers and whatever else you're doing. And you just keep on the path and you just keep going. But once life slows down a little bit, things start to go in different directions. And one thing I can promise you is, if you're in a relationship, I don't care if you're talking about a business relationship, a marriage, a partnership of any kind, whatever. If you are in partnership with somebody and you have totally different goals and you want to go in totally different directions in life, neither one of you is ever going to get there, right? Neither one of you is ever going to get the life you want if you want totally different things. It's physically impossible. You just can't do it. So, you know, we tried. we tried our best, and it just wasn't going to work. And what that letter shows you there, like, and I'm not saying this to make me look good or anything. It's not it at all. I was just trying everything I could to just love her enough, like the way that I was raised, my family, I had have this super extraordinary supportive family where, in our crew, in our family, my parents are both gone, but my brother and sister and I are closer than ever. The way our family was raised is that if one of you is struggling, if one of you is grinding it out, if one of you's, in the ditch, everybody's there to reach down and give you a helping hand and pull you out. And with her family, it was exactly the opposite. Like I've really never seen anything like it. If one of them is in the ditch, it's like, oh, now they're happy with you, right? Like that's where we want you because that's where we live. That's where we're comfortable. And as soon as one of them tries to elevate, they try to make something of themselves. Family's like, oh, hey, wait a second, where do you think you're going? Get back down here with the rest of us, and just pure sabotage. I've never seen anything like it. Um, so that's what she was sort of taught love looked like, right? Like that's what she thought love was. That's what she thought family was. And mine couldn't have been more of an opposite. And the truth is, I thought that letter that I read at the start of the show, I thought that would be something that she would really love and embrace. The truth is, it probably did the opposite. Probably made her really uncomfortable. Um, like she wouldn't have said that because she wouldn't have, but as I reflect back on it, I think that's what it was. But it's also why it hurt so much when she left, right? Like it was a total blindside. I've never been more shocked by anything because I just thought, if I just love her enough, if I just love her enough, if I just stick by her side, if I just keep doing it, keep grinding away, one day she's going to wake up and go, "Oh my God, this is it. This is what I want." That's not the case. That's why it hurt so much when she left, right? Like everybody that knew me and loved me, um, they were all relieved when she left because they knew we weren't right? Like they knew that we had no business being together, outside of the fact that we share these kids. Anybody on the outside looking would look at this and go, "No way." Even my daughter, who was devastated, like the first year after her mom left, that was a really really hard year for her. And even she, like, it was like 3 days later, and I get this bright idea. I'm going to go win her back. I'm going to go get her back. And my daughter looked at me. She was 17 at the time, and she looked at me and she goes, "Dad, why? Like, why? Why would you want that?" So even my kids who were hurt by the divorce, like even they were like, "Yeah, this relationship really doesn't make any sense." So my daughter, why? Why would you want that? And all my other friends, my family, everybody else that knew, they were just, they were so relieved. Um, because we just, again, it doesn't mean one side was right and one side was wrong. It's just we had no business being in a relationship together. I'm telling you this because the first episode that I recorded on this show, actually the whole reason that I started this show was when she left, it put me in a spot that I didn't think I'd ever be in. It gave me an opportunity to feel pain that I, I still can't even wrap my head around. Like anybody who's gone through will tell you, like it is the most, it is, it is pain like I didn't even know existed. Hardest thing I've ever done, no question, was recover from that pain. I was lucky enough. I was lucky enough to have men and women in my life who had been through this, who were there to coach me and show me how to climb that mountain, show me how to go from the ditch to the top. And, you know, there's so many gifts along the way. I learned I learned that some people that I thought were there for me are not. I learned that they don't care as much as I thought they did. Um, wouldn't even talk to me. Maybe it's because they didn't know what to say. It was whatever. But like I learned in that first year and a half that some people don't care as much as I thought they did. That in itself is a gift. Now I know. But I also learned that I had people in my life who, I knew cared, but I didn't know how much they cared. I didn't know how willing they were to be for me. And then I also didn't know, well, I didn't know what to do when she left. Like I had no idea. But these men and women that were there for me, what I didn't necessarily realize at the time is that they were helping me chart the course up that mountain, step by step, every step at a time. They were there right with me. I realized that there's a lot of people out there who don't have that. And so when they get blindsided by life, they don't have anybody there who's going to help them, who's going to support them, who's going to carry them when they can't walk, who's going to take a 3 a.m. phone call, who's going to tell you on the day when you don't even know how you're going to get out of bed. And they remind you, you've got this. I love you. You can do it. Let's go. You got this. So I realized that not everybody had that. And I thought, maybe I'll record this show in an effort to help people chart their path up that mountain. The people who don't have anybody, maybe they could listen to this and this could be part of their guiding light to help them get out of it. And, I can honestly say, like, I've heard from a number of people who that's what it did. I've heard from a number of people who told me the impact that the show has made on them. So I want to record this episode as I want to show you what it's like on the other side. Lots of people have listened. The episode that's been listened to the most is episode 1, which is where I talk about the Blindside divorce and what happened. It's by far the number 1 listened to episode in out of the 27 or so that we've done. But I wanted to follow that episode up with this one, 20, whatever it was, year and a half later. Because I want to show you what it's like on the other side. If you're in that ditch, if you're in that point, I want to show you what the reward is if you do all the right things. And I really, really hope that this episode doesn't come across as being too self-indulgent. I mean, they're all a little self-indulgent. I'm aware. But what I'm hoping for is that this episode makes the impact that first one did. Where I can show you that if you do all the right things, you're going to be rewarded, right? When that first week after she left, I called her every name in the book. Like I wasn't exactly my best self that week. If you saw the screenshots of the text conversations we were having, I'd be pretty embarrassed by them. I was angry. I wanted to hurt her like she hurt me. When I found out that she, moved in with her boyfriend 3 weeks after she left, like I wanted to tear her down. I wanted to hurt her, and it wasn't my finest moment. Just leave it at that. But I felt what I felt. I was angry. I was hurt. But I can honestly say, like, if I look at everything that's happened since then, every single one made my life better. Every single one. One of the things that happened, I did some ketamine therapy. This was like 3 months after she left, and I could already tell, like I was on my path, right? Like I was on my way, And I was still very much in that healing process, very much in that process. But I knew, like I could see, a little light at the end of the tunnel. And in the ketamine, I had this really neat thing where, and it was the first ketamine session, I got to meet my higher self, and I saw this version of me that I was like, oh my God, like, who's this guy? I want to be like that guy. One of the things that sort of came through that was, if God came to you, if your higher self came to you and said, or if God came to your higher self and said, okay, here's the deal. I'm going to give you an opportunity. And in this opportunity, you are going to have every single area of your life, every single one. I'm going to give you an opportunity to elevate them to a place that you've never been. And in fact, in most of them, you've never even comprehended. I'm going to show you how to take every area of your life and move it from this mediocre spot to something truly extraordinary in ways that you can't even fathom. But in order to do that, you need to go through the most painful thing you've ever gone through. But your reward is this. Do you take that deal? So, and I don't know if you would or not, right? I think a lot of people would not take that deal. But isn't that the best part of God, right? Like one of the best things is for him to have the wisdom and the plan to push you to that point that maybe you wouldn't have the courage to put yourself in on your own. That's God in a nutshell. I'm going to knock you down. I'm going to put you in a spot that you'd never have chosen on your own. But your reward, I promise you, your reward is going to make it all worth it. And then some. It's going to be the best trade you ever make. You get to trade your old life for this new one. And all you got to do is walk through hell for a minute. That's it. Like with hindsight, I don't regret a thing. Like, I'm just grateful for it. I'm so grateful. Like my divorce is expensive, like really expensive. And I could never understand, and we all know that guy, right? We all know that guy or that woman. But generally guys in this context, we all know that guy who, they've just got divorced. They're wiped out, right? They just lost their shirt. They're starting over. They're starting everything over. And they can't wipe the grin off their face. And like, I used to look at that and go like, really? You couldn't have figured out a way to make it work? Like, is it really worth all that money and all that, was it really worth it? And they'll just look at you and just go, yep, worth it. The week before my wedding, it's a really funny story. So I was in Hooters restaurant in the West Edmonton Mall, and this is like 2005, I think. And I was there with two buddies and a Hall of Fame goalie from Edmonton. You can figure out pretty quickly who it was. He was divorced a couple times, and one of the guys said, "Hey," said to the goalie guy, said, "Hey, you must have some marriage advice for Adam. You must have some advice." And he looks at me and he goes, "Yeah, I got some advice." He goes, "Do you know why divorce is so expensive?" And I said, "No, why?" And he goes, "Because it's fucking worth it." And I just laughed, okay, haha, funny line. It's true, guys. It's worth it. Like, it's so worth it. And I didn't even want it. Like, you read that letter, you hear that letter that I wrote, like, clearly I was trying to make this thing work. I just stuck it out for 100 years. This shitty marriage, I would have just stayed there. And if someone would have told me what this was going to cost me financially, like, I would have went, oh my God, like, how am I ever going to recover from this? How is it going to happen? But I will, because I don't have, and I'm going to call it an anchor, but that's the truth, right? Like, when you have two people in a marriage that, you want two totally different things, but you're locked together, you become anchors for one another, right? Like I'm holding her back from what she wants. She's holding me back from what I want. We want totally, completely different things. So to cut that cord so that you can go off to where you want to go, and she can too. She can go follow her path. That's why that's why what he said was so true. It's not a shot at the other person. It's just the gift that you get with that clean cut, with a clear path and the knowledge that you have heading into your new life, right? Like, that line, like people always say it, like older people, oh, if I knew then what I know now, right? And what they're talking about is like going back to their 18-year-old self or their 20-year-old self or whatever, with the knowledge that they have now and what they would have done differently. But when you get divorced, that's what happens, right? Like I'm 47 years old. I feel like I'm in the prime of my life. I feel like I've got lots and lots of great years ahead of me. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm probably in the best. Well, not right now. I'm a little out of shape now, but 6 months ago, I was in the best shape I'd ever been. I felt really unstoppable, and I feel great. And so I don't have to go back to my 20-year-old self and start my life over with what I know now. I get to do it now. I get to start my life over now with everything that I've learned over the past 47 years I've been on this earth, with a totally clean slate, right? Like you talk about a gift. Oh my God, you guys, that's a gift, right? That's a gift. I got to go into my dating life with a whole list of non-negotiables. Like these are things that I will never, ever, ever compromise on, ever. I know exactly what I want. These are the things I want. These are the things I don't want. Let's go. I got to do things that I never ever would have done had I been in the marriage, right? Like not a chance. For those of you who've been watching this show, like in September of last year, I went down to Colombia for 10 days for 3 ayahuasca ceremonies. Life-changing, life-changing week, a life-changing experience. I got to meet a man named Sean Chester, who's one of the wisest humans I've ever come across, and then a Taita or medicine man in Colombia who, like, this guy's like Dalai Lama level enlightened. I wouldn't have had that experience if I was still married. There's no chance. I look at all the gifts along the way and how, if you sort your life into all these different categories, in every single one, I've not just leveled up, I've leveled up in a way that hadn't even occurred to me. I've grown, I've had these experiences. Like, what a gift. Like, what a gift. And all it cost me was all my money. So the only area of my life that I haven't leveled up is on the financial side, but that's coming too. Like, I have no doubt. Like if every other thing that I've done in my life elevated me past the point of anything that had ever occurred to me, I have no reason to believe that it won't be the same with money. None at all. So starting over, like, what a gift. I mean, like, think about it. You think of that man or woman on their deathbed, right? Oh, if I could go do it all over again, if I could go back and tell my younger self this and this and this. That's what I'm doing. Like, that's what I'm doing every day, every single day. And if you are in those early stages of your divorce, of your or whatever life event has flipped it all upside down, I promise you that reward is there for you if you do the work, like really do the work. If you really, really focus on yourself and really figure out how to grow and level up and how to use that pain, how to use that pain to your advantage. You're going to wake up one day and you're going to need plastic surgery to remove the smile from your face. Like, you're just going to be so happy. And the crazy part about it is it'll be as a result of of something you would have never chosen in a million years. You would have never chosen the catalyst that took you to the moon. Isn't that neat? Doesn't that make you believe in God? Right? That God loves you enough to go, okay, I know you're going to hate this, but it's going to be worth it. I promise. I'm going to be right there with you. And I'm going to connect you to me in a deeper way, right? You're going to find a connection to God through this process. So, when this happens, and everybody has life events, like everybody, they happen. Not everybody gets divorced, but everybody's going to, have pain or something. Like, there's going to be a life event at some point that's going to throw you for a loop. It's inevitable. Whether you think it's going to make you or you think it's going to break you, you will be right. Whether you think you can do it or you think you can't, you're going to be right. Whether you think that you can level up the way so many of the greatest people on this earth have done, or you're going to wind up in the ditch and turn to booze and drugs and whatever else, you'll be right. Like, I promise you, you're going to be right either way. So the only question is, what's the choice, right? Because you got to feel that pain either way. You're going to feel it. You're going to go through it. So are you going to use it to ruin your life, or are you going to use it to level up in ways that you can't even comprehend? That's it. Like, that's it. That's it. And no matter what you choose, that will be your result. You'll be correct. So what are you going to choose? If someone sent you this episode, if someone that loves you, who sees where you are right now, sent you this episode, it's because they hope you make the right choice. It's because they love you enough to go, let's go. The conversation I talked about in the first episode, my friend Joey, who had a very similar circumstance. First marriage was no good. Fell in the ditch, went through the pain, healed. He told me, he's like, let that fire wash over you. Sit in the pain, sit in the pain, sit in the pain. Let it wash over you. He told me everything that his mentor told him during that time. And his reward was he got to be with his soulmate, got to be with the love of his life. He met her after. Well, he knew her before, but ended up marrying her, and then built a life that, like, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. You would look at his life today and go, oh my God, that is a life worth living. But he had no chance, no chance of getting that life if he would have still been in his first marriage. None. Zero. And he'll tell you that. It wasn't going to happen. Do you think he's happy with the trade? Do you think he's happy with leveling up every single area of his life? And all he had to do was walk through hell for a minute? Absolutely. He'd take it. And so would I. And anybody looking at it would. But we get so focused, you get tunnel vision, and just trying to get through your day, trying to grind through your shitty mundane life. And I'm not saying you have a shitty mundane life, but like, I look back at where I was, that's what I was. It was to the outside eye, it might have looked okay, but compared to what I know now, it was brutal. It was brutal. And I have her to thank for it. Because had she not left, had she not found a different life, I'd still be anchored to her. She'd be anchored to me. And it would suck. You can do it. I promise you, you can do it. You can take your life and you can level it up in every single way. I've been pretty open about my relationship with my girlfriend, who, as time goes on, I get these little reminders of how I'm not sure I could have chosen someone who was more of a polar opposite than my ex, right? I'm not sure I could have. I was really stressed out last week about something. Doesn't matter what it was, but I was really stressed out. And in my marriage, because my ex couldn't handle stress, like some people can't. She's one of them. She just can't handle it. And so if I was stressed out about something, I would have to just hide it from her. And then if she sensed that I was stressed, and then she'd finally, well, what is it? And then I'd tell her, and then she'd be mad at me for making her stressed about the things I'm stressed out about. And then that would just make it worse. Then I felt like I can't even feel the way I'm supposed to feel. And so it just compounded the problem, made it worse and worse and worse. So anyway, I was stressed last week about something, and my girlfriend Anne, she's like, what's going on? And I tell her, and she just looked at me with the most loving, compassionate smile ever, and she just gave me a big hug. And she's like, I got you, babe. Like, we're good. This is nothing. And then reminded me of all the things that we had that would allow us to overcome whatever was stressing me out. And I just looked at her, and like for like the next 2 days, like I couldn't even look at her without smiling. I couldn't even look at her because it was just like, oh my God. Like, you think something like that. I mean, if you're listening to this and you think something like that, you think, well, yeah, of course, like that's what you're supposed to do. But when you've never had that, in fact, when you've only ever had the opposite, it's like, oh my God, that's what that feels like. That's pretty great. She has big goals, no fear. This is my girlfriend, no fear, totally aligned in values. So now, like when I'm trying to do something, when I'm trying to, when I'm trying to get somewhere, make something happen, I don't have an anchor. I have a jetpack on my back. Like it's just, let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it together. Let's go win. It's so great. Yeah, what a gift. I was lucky enough to be invited to one of the most extraordinary men I've ever met. He turned 75 a little while ago. I'm great friends with his two sons, and I've been lucky enough to get to know Paul a little bit over the last 4 or 5 years. And he's just one of those guys you just look at, and he just always walks around with a smile on his face, and he's also one of those guys that he just knows what to tell you, right? And I don't know, like if he does it on purpose or it just kind of happenstance or accident or whatever, but like it seems like every time I have a meaningful conversation with Paul, it's like he was like reading my mail the day before. It's like, how did you know that's what I needed to hear? So anyway, it was his 75th birthday, and oh man, it was so cool. He told me a story about like he's a very successful man, but like a lot of successful men, he had to go broke a couple times first, and he told me a story about his amazing wife and how supportive she was in the darkest times, right? Like they lived in Devon, and they only had one car. That's all they could afford. And when she would have to go buy groceries in the middle of winter, and for those of you who never experienced a northern Alberta winter, they're cold and snowy. And so, they had all these kids, and what she'd do is she'd load them up on a toboggan and drag them to the store, and then buy whatever she needed for groceries and make the kids hold on to these bags on the toboggan, and off that's how they did, because they didn't have a second car, because he needed to go to work. And and just did it with a smile on her face, like, yeah, this is great. We got everything we need. We got each other. We're healthy. We're happy. And Paul told me those stories, and he told me about how, even in those darkest times, he'd just look and he'd go, what am I worried about? Like, yeah, I don't got two nickels to rub together, but who cares? Like, what do I care? I've got the love of my life by my side. I've got these healthy kids that are awesome. We're all happy. I got enough to eat. I got enough to live. What am I worried about? God's got me. It's going to be okay. And of course, he worked his ass off to build this life. But, he told me that story and I went, well, yeah, like, what am I worried about? So, yeah, I'm going to get taken down a couple pegs in this divorce from a financial perspective. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Like, doesn't matter. So, all the things that I was so afraid of, all the fears I had, all the things where, I wasn't willing to relinquish control to that higher power, none of them mattered. And none of them will. Because what matters is what I got out of this experience, my healthy, happy family, the relationship I have with my kids, meeting a woman who, like that letter, all I wanted was somebody who'd let me love them. And maybe they would love me back the same way. Right? I didn't have that in my marriage. It was never going to happen. She was never going to let me love her the way that I watched my dad love my mom. She was never going to love me the way my mom loved my dad. She was never going to support me the way, like I look at Paul and his wife, or Joey and his second wife. That was never going to be our path, ever. It was never going to happen. And this isn't a shot at her. It's just the truth. It was never, ever, ever going to happen. So when I look back on it, the pain, all the shit I went through, the financial cost, the stress, the this and that, to get through it on the other side with this as the reward. Oh my God, what a trade. It's the most lopsided trade I've ever made. It's the best trade ever. And the craziest part about it is, like, yes, I did the work, but she's the one that gave me the invitation to the party. She's the one who got the ball rolling. There's not enough words for the gratitude that I have for her. And that's one of the things that people said. There's like 3 different people that said, because I wanted revenge, right? Like I wanted revenge on her so bad. And they said the best revenge is getting to the point where you're so happy that you look at her with gratitude. And that's where I am. And you will be too. If you're watching this because you find yourself in that ditch and you find yourself needing to fight your way back, if that's where you're at, and you're looking for inspiration the way I got from the people that I knew that had gone through it and got to the other side, that's why I'm recording this episode. And not to sound arrogant or, all high and mighty, because I'm just a guy. I'm not, there's nothing special. But I just wanted to pay it forward because I was so lucky to have those men in my life and women who are there to show me what can happen with this opportunity, to show me where life can go if you do the right things. So this is my hope, that me delivering this message is a pay it forward in that regard. And hopefully it impacts you the same way. Guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope this episode resonates with those who've had this experience. And yeah, like always, if this stuff is impacting you, please share it, and like and follow on Instagram, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, all the above. If you could like and share with the people that you love, who you think can benefit from this stuff, I'd be grateful. Help me spread my message if you think it matters. So anyway, guys, that said, episode in the books, Army of Great Men. Let's go.